Good morning, boys and girls. Mr. Early here for our morning meeting. It is Wednesday, May 20th. And let's go ahead and get those greetings in. We get some elbows going here, elbows going there. And today I'm going to continue talking about the student-led conferences that you have heard Mr. Lorigan and Ms. McGarry talk to you about so far. So I'm going to continue with that trend and really talk to you how important it is to prep for these student conferences. Make sure that you have gone over what you want to show your parents so that you are totally prepared. And you're in luck today because I actually found a video that one of my teachers took when I was at Berlin Moran of my student-led conference, and I'm going to share it with you to kind of give you some ideas of what not to do. That's right. My student-led conference was not the best. I was being silly through it, as you'll see. I made a lot of mistakes. I wasn't thinking clearly. I didn't practice what I was supposed to say. So we want to make sure that you guys are really looking over those choice boards and making sure that you know what you want to say. So without further ado, here's the video of me doing my Berlin Moran student-led conference way back when I was at Berlin Moran. Good afternoon, Mr. Early, Misha. I'm so glad you guys could join us on our student-led conferences. We have that up there. Again, my name is Mr. Coast. I've been Misha's teacher all year, and I'm really looking forward to hearing what he has to share with us. So, Misha, you do remember what student-led conference means, correct? Yeah, what's up, Mr. Coast? Of course I know what student-led conferences are. It's a conference where you're going to tell my dad all about what I learned this year. Now, Misha, we talked about this last week. You are the one in charge of telling your father and myself about what you have learned this year. It's not me telling you, it's you telling all of us about the things that you have learned. Oh, yeah, I remember, Mr. Coast. Dad, I had a really good year this year. So, Misha, I want you to tell us about some of the things that you have learned about this year. Let's see. I learned math, reading, spelling, science, social studies. Yes, Misha, you did. But what I would really like for you to do is to share one of the things on your choice board with your dad and myself. Okay, Mr. Coast. Which one do you want me to tell him about? That's your choice, Misha. Okay, Mr. Coast, I picked math because I really like math. And the problem says, if I bought 6 packs of bones for my dog and each pack has 10 bones in it, how many bones would I have for my dog? Well, Mr. Coast, I wouldn't buy 10 packs of bones for my dogs because that would just make her really sick. You're probably right, Misha, but let's pretend for just a moment, and why don't you show us how you would solve this type of problem? The answer is 60 bones. Yes, but how do you know? I added it up in my head, Mr. Coast. Yes, you did do it in your head, but what strategy did you use? I told you, I used my head. Yes, it was in your head. But what did you do in your head to get the answer? Oh, you mean I added 10 6 times? What does you added 10 6 times really mean? Each bag had 10 bones in it, so I bought 6 bags, so I added 10 6 times. I did 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10 equals 60. So the strategy you used was called what? I told you already, I used my head. That's where you did the work, but what strategy did you use in your head? Oh, you mean I used repeated addition, right? Good job, Misha. Mr. Early, I promise you I taught him this year. So, Misha, now that we've covered math, why don't you tell your dad about the favorite thing that you have learned this year? Oh, that one's easy. I learned how to do a bicycle kick out of recess. What favorite academic thing have you learned this year? Well, Mr. Coast, why didn't you say that? Because we practiced all of this last week. Oh, right, Mr. Coast, I gotcha. My favorite thing that I learned this year was all about the ancient civilizations and the techniques they used for fishing. Because I love some fishing. Right, Dad? Hey, guys, that was pretty funny, wasn't it? It brought back a lot of memories, some good, some bad. I'll tell you, the ride home with Dad was not the best after that one. So you don't want to be like me. So I really want you guys to, as you're looking over that choice board, choose things that you want to talk about. Choose things that you want to share with your parents that you have really learned and want to invest some more energy in talking about with your parents. That's what makes us most happy, is seeing you guys show off all of that wonderful knowledge that you have learned. So come prepared to them to be able to show your parents and show off everything that you've learned. It's very important to do that. So make sure you're taking your time and looking over all of that information and preparing for next week's student-led conferences. Now, let's go to the joke. And kind of along with the teacher thing, the joke that I've got for you today is, why did the teacher write on the window? Why would the teacher write on the window? I can tell you there could be two answers to this depending on what time of the year your teacher is writing on the window. Is it during regular school or is it during quarantine school? So you could come up with two answers here. So, why did your teacher write on the window? To make sure that the message was clear. That's regular school. If you're in quarantine school, it's because the teacher doesn't have a dry erase board at home.